Hello everyone, welcome to the all-new sports show presented by Roger G. Taylor and Associates Championship Edition. I am Edward Green. I will be joined at the desk momentarily by my colleague Wes Bradshaw. And do we have a show for you? Of course, we bring you both games we did this Friday night, including Fike Hunt and Rocky Mountain Northern. We'll be bringing you all up to speed on the NCHSAA playoffs. We'll be telling you about RMA's run to another state title, get you a Todd Gurley update, Bishop's Corner, and the most exciting minute of your week, 60 seconds of soccer. This is the all-new sports show. Let's do it. Guacamole!
Dogs coming on a blitz, a nice pickup. Green gets rid of it and caught on the deflection. Put 6 on the board, Knight fans. That is a touchdown.
And it is caught by number 20, Malik Williams, and he breaks free. He's going. One man to beat. It's a touchdown.
It's all about consistency.
That's what makes life wonderful.
Yes, it is.
Hello, everyone, and
I am
welcome
tan.
to the all-new sports
Wow.
show.
I like this.
Is it jaundiced?
that'd be just in the eye.
Ooh, okay, good times. Folks, welcome to the all-new sports
Yes.
show, brought to you each and every week by Roger G. Taylor and Associates. I'm Wes Bradshaw, reunited
And it feels so good.
with good old Edward Green. Folks, this, of course, the final week of regular season high school football. The traditional, sadly,
Yeah.
2 Christmases that Ed and I have to have where we split up and go our separate ways for just 1 week and come back and bring you just magic.
And
from
then mommy and
wherever
daddy
we go.
reconcile.
That's right. Then they get back together after the holidays. No one has to buy each other gifts. It's a perfect system. Folks, coming up, we're going to take you to our 2 games of the week, the 2 big rivalries going on in Nash and Wilson County. Of course, I myself made my way out to the jungle.
Where he didn't die.
No one died. It was a good night. No one died. Parachuters got lost, but other than that.
Yeah.
For the Hunt Fike, which turned out to be a big-time conference decider game. And Ed, of course, at the traditional rivalry, Northern Nash versus
The
Capstone. He had fun. Ooh, I'm just rolling up my sleeves, folks. I'm ready to rock and roll and go on this.
Excellent.
But we've got updates, highlights from both of those games coming to you. We have, of course, your most exciting minute of the week, 60 seconds of soccer coming up. Josh Wallfish from the Rocky Mountain Tugger going to join us because Ed, not only did the regular season end and some people got some bragging rights, wait, football's not over. The playoffs are here.
For 8 of our teams.
The playoffs are here. The playoffs are here.
8 of our teams. 3. Actually, no, now I think it's just 2. No, 3. 3.
Well, you take Rocky Mountain Academy away.
8 of our
Something's
11
3.
11-man teams
There you go.
are in the playoffs.
And even one that maybe you didn't exactly think we're going to go to the playoffs.
I love 1A football. It's the
But
best.
anyway, we're going to talk about that. Josh Wallfish will join us. We're going to break down your brackets, tell you where to be next week, a little quick Bishop's Corner, and then, folks, we're going to have not 1, 2 plays of the week for you. 1 from Hunt Fike, 1 from Rocky Mountain Northern Nash. Folks, before we dive into everything head first, and the way we always go, head first, never looking to see if there's actually water in the pool, Ed, put us over.
Of course, as you just saw on the bottom of the screen, you can email us allnewsportshow@gmail.com. If you're more of a different fan of the social medias, you can go on to Twitter. Twitter is at allnewsportshow. Make sure you check us out there. Of course, also facebook.com/allnewsportshow if you want to get a lot of our updates there. Of course, we always have daily posts there during the week. You can go on to instagram.com/allnewsportshow to find all our picks and even the quick videos from all of our high school games. Of course, you can go to youtube.com/theallnewsportshow for more full-length highlights and analysis, and of course, full episodes as well. This one will be up there soon. And if you want to, you can just plain old mail us 1701 Sunset Avenue, Suite 201, Rocky Mount, North Carolina, 27804. You can mail us more flags. They don't have to just be American.
Got these flags from Hunt last night. It was a very patriotic night at Hunt High School. As I mentioned earlier, the parachutists, they had parachutists coming in, and they were supposed to come in right about 7:28, deliver the game ball, and we were going to play football. So, we got to where we need to be, and we waited, and we waited, and we waited. We looked to the sky. Oh, wait, no, that's a That's a tractor trailer on I-95 making that noise, not an airplane. And eventually, no parachutists came, so they just said, "Well, let's play football." So about 7:40, we kicked off. Luckily, at halftime, the parachutists arrived
Awesome.
and almost took out 2 fight players.
Awesome.
Good times.
That was the plan.
All right, and then the other one actually landed on the baseball field and completely missed where he was going.
But let's talk about what actually happened during the game, because that
Was
might
that was the highlight of the night for Hunt fans,
Yeah, that's true.
unfortunately.
That's true.
All right, folks, we're going to jump right into it. Part 1 of tonight's show is for you Wilson County folks at home and anyone else, of course, who wants to listen in.
Of course.
But, folks, Fight Hunt, it was what it was billed to be. It was the battle for the Wilson County Championship. There's a trophy.
Awesome.
Clint and I tried to get our picture with the trophy, but we were told no by backup linebacker
Aw.
who said we couldn't hold his trophy. So we're like, okay. Play more than 5 plays next game. But anyway, yeah, I'm a jerk. Fike, of course, your overwhelming Big East Conference favorite, Ed, as we came into the season, had the slip up against Southern Nash. But other than that, Ed, a 10-1 regular season, they did not let anything get in their way. They did what they had to do. And when it came down to play Hunt, a team they had not beaten in 6 years, their last 8 tries had not beaten Hunt. They get it done on Hunt senior night. They go into the jungle. No one died. 51-21 final. Fike beat Hunt. And, Ed, that's a big score, and it was reflected in the way that game was played.
Obviously, I think the most surprising thing, as you just look at the sheer numbers, you wouldn't expect Fike to win, and not as convincingly as they did when your quarterback's only going 2 of 9 on the game, and one of those is an interception. And yet, you look, though, on the other hand, 325 yards rushing.
Well, and here is kind of the silver lining in that 2 of 9. Probably out of those 7 incompletions, 4 of them were rollouts where he just threw the football away to avoid sack.
Okay.
So it wasn't as if DJ Daniels was not having a good night. They didn't have to throw the football.
You run 325 yards, you don't have to.
You take a look at it. A.J. Hines had a great night. He had a pair of touchdown runs, including a 56-yarder, which you might see a little later here in the show. Anthony Evans, who was our player of the game, we'll get to him in a little bit. 3 touchdowns on the night himself, all 3 running it in. Those 2 really controlled the game. And then Daniels, something that we saw him do against Northern Nash a week ago, he really helped himself he would drop back, and when he saw those seams open in the middle, he'd take off, pick up 10, 15 yards. I mean, if you can't account for that, you're in trouble. And Hunt was in trouble from the get-go. Hunt came out. It was a very sloppy start to the game for Hunt. 5-yard penalty before they could even run their first play. Then they fumbled a snap, picked up by Fike. Fike turns around immediately and scores 3 and out. And then the big long run by Hines on their next possession. And just like that, Hunt found themselves really, really in a tight spot. In fairness to Hunt, once they finally settled down just a little bit.
They did make it close. At one point, it was 20-14.
They did. It was 2014 at one point. Jacob Williamson, who was my Pappy Van Winkle,
He did throw it 21
That's not.
times.
This isn't smooth. Smooth pick of the week for Hunt. I said on my writing that he was going to have a big game to keep him in it because I didn't think the Hunt running game was good enough to keep him in it. I was right on that. Williamson came out. Williamson, unfortunately for him, he had some drops. He was running for his life a lot of the night because, hey, last 2 weeks we've seen that Fike line. They're good. They're quick. They chase down the quarterback. They get after people. Live TV.
Yep.
God bless America. God, you commie Canadian. They did not let Williamson have an easy night whatsoever.
Right.
Williamson made some really nice passes, including a 25-yard touchdown pass to Josh Willingham. That was actually set up by about a 50-plus yard throw to Willingham a couple plays beforehand. That set him up for a chance at success. Later, Williamson had a 2-yard run. But overall, it was the night of the Golden Demons. Fike was not going to be denied. They had, they had the mojo going against them for the last 6 seasons. This was a team that was ready to break that string, and they came out. They played like it. They were confident. They were fast. They were hard hitting, and they played just a really, really good football game.
Also, really surprising for Hunt, 12 penalties for 102 yards on the night. Fike did have 9 for 79, but that's you always think of Hunt as such a disciplined and well-founded football team, and it just didn't turn out in that on the night.
The
also,
one,
two
the one
turnovers.
especially that you knew was going to get Hunt was when DJ Daniels was run out of bounds on a play near midfield, and Hunt actually had 2 late hit flags thrown at the same time. So first they mark off 15, and then they mark off another 15. So
You can
literally
do that?
2 separate fouls.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Two
I thought you could only
15-yard
basically
penalties.
take one per time.
But it was dead ball.
Okay.
Because he was out of bounds,
All right.
late hit, dead ball foul, unnecessary
Wow.
roughness. So they basically walked off 30 yards right there,
Not good.
and and it should have been a drive where they were actually starting to fight down a little bit, and bad things occurred.
You know who they didn't wear down, though?
Who did they not wear down?
Anthony Evans, apparently.
God, no, they did not wear down Anthony Evans because Anthony Evans was on fire.
Fire!
Fire.
Yep.
And folks, he was our Telco
He was.
Credit Union Player of the Game, Wilson County edition. I said, young man, here's a shirt. You're number 3 in the school to have one this year. So now you can beat up the kicker.
Yes.
So you can outrun the quarterback. So you're the guy who's going to wear the shirt. Okay.
Yeah.
You're the man. You did it. At the moment, at this interview, you'll notice I didn't exactly know if we were going to be playing the interview this week on the show, so I may be pumping it as an internet exclusive.
It's fine.
But folks,
It will be on the internet.
What you are going to get a chance to see watching the show now is what an internet exclusive.
For those of you who don't get the internet for some reason.
Exactly. A lot of people don't get the internet for whatever reason. So you're going to see what an internet exclusive interview looks like. Spoiler, it's not much different than a regular one. But anyway, let's head back out to the jungle and let's talk to the man of the night, the senior who led his team to a Big East championship, Fike running back, Anthony Evans. Field of the Jungle post-game 51-21 Fike vanquishes their cross-county foe, the Hunt Warriors. Folks, staying next to me is this week's Telco Credit Union Player of the Game, Anthony Evans. 3rd straight week we get a Fike player. We wait till the 3rd straight week to get the senior getting his first big win over his cross-county rivals in Hunt. Anthony, for you guys, from where you've come from, you're ending your senior season as the conference champions. How does it feel for you, buddy?
I mean, it feels great, man. We worked so hard for this for the last 4 years, and we finally got it. We deserve it, man.
Anthony, not only that, you win the Wilson County Championship. We see the trophy back here just behind us. It's got to feel great. It isn't the end of your career yet. You still got this the playoffs coming up, but in your regular season career, getting a win over Hunt, your first win over the Warriors. Man, what's it like to come in here and ruin senior night?
It feels great, man. Man, like I said, we've been working hard as a team, man. All season long, we've been preaching about it. 365 days out of the year, and this is one of the days we've been waiting for.
Well, Anthony, early on, you guys, you get the big play to start the game on Hunt's first possession. Next thing you know, you go up 13-0. How are you feeling at that point? How were you feeling when you had the lead? Did you feel we just got to put this to bed?
Yes, sir. I felt, man, we felt confident. I mean, we just had to put it away. Coach said, game not over, game not over. We was going to smash them out, and that's what we did.
Well, Anthony, one more time here from the All New Sports Show. Big congratulations to you and your teammates, your Wilson County champs, your Big East Conference champs. 5 more wins, you'd be another kind of champ.
Yes, sir. It feels great, man. Like I said, we're going to get back to practice Monday and keep working hard.
Folks, he's got the T-shirt to prove it. He's got the internet exclusive video to prove it. This week's Telco Credit Union Player of the Game against the Hunt Warriors, Anthony Evans of the Fike Golden Demons. Anthony, congratulations.
Thank you.
And folks, that's going to do it for our Telco Credit Union Player of the Game internet exclusive.
Exclusives.
I'd like to thank our extras who decided to walk in front of the camera, and especially the first guy who also decided to kind of trip on the microphone.
You're number 1.
Yeah, I remember you, Red Shoes, and I'll find you one day. All right, Anthony Evans, of course, just had a massive ball game. We talked about the Fike offense, the three-headed monster of Daniels, Hines, and Evans. Now let's talk a little bit about that Fike defense as compared to that Hunt offense. Hunt up front, offensive line had problems all night. just were not able to get a push. Were not able to really protect Jacob Williamson. The running game, they churned out 190 yards running, but it was, I want to remember, if I remember correctly, I want to say there was one big 50, 60, 70-yard run there. There was actually a 70-yard run in there where they didn't score a touchdown but got down into Fike into the green zone, as you like to call it. So you take 109 yards, you take off that 70-yard run, you're looking at about 120, 130 yards. Fike dominated this ball game from the defensive side of the football. Hunt did a good job to get back into it in the first half, but once Fike kind of put their foot down, this one was all done.
It's kind of stunning, we've seen Fike evolve a little bit over the last 3 weeks. Even though there were a few touchdowns taken off the board against Rocky Mount, they still played very well defensively against them. And basically, if not for those kick and punt returns, which is more maybe special teams, purely defensively, that unit was very good against Rocky Mount. Of course, we saw them against Northern, 3 interceptions in that one, never allowed the Knights to get anything going. And here, this was a game where I really thought it was going to be close. Almost picked Hunt, but just because of the mojo they've had the last 5 or 6 years, I tell you what, this Fike team is very impressive, and I hope a lot of teams around the state are taking note. We'll talk about the brackets that came out today a little bit later on in the show. It looked like initially Fike was going to be a 6, and I saw the 3 and the 2 they might have to play. Well, and the reason I think that was going to be was because they saw that
they weren't taking them as a conference champion.
Yeah, exactly, which we'll explain later.
Exactly.
But when I looked and saw who the 2 and the 3 were that they'd have to play, I thought they'd be able to get there. I thought their hardest test would be against Southern in the 4th round. But I think Fike.
But Southern, of course, I mean Southern Durham, who's defending state champs and have a quarterback going to Wake Forest.
Sorry. But it's very, they have hit their stride. We talk about Southwest and how we think they're peaking at the right time. I think Fike, maybe the best thing that could have happened to them this year was losing to Southern Nash. They come out a little uninspired against Central, have a dogfight against Rocky Mount, and then in what could have been a trap game, the Northern Nash game, they come out and absolutely crush them. I think this Fike team is poised for a big run.
And you'll hear head coach Tom Nelson say that he thought their most complete game of the year was against Northern a week ago.
Certainly.
Everything just really worked out for him. He feels that right now they are playing their best football. And any coach worth his salt is going to tell you, yes, I want to win every game I coach. But if I've got to lose a game, let me lose it in September or maybe early October, and let me be playing good football when November gets here. Right now, Fike is playing fantastic football. We're gonna release the brackets to you just a little later, so you will find out where the Golden Demons are. I think they've got a great opportunity ahead of them where they're set up to go. But anyway, after the ball game, folks, for the 3rd week in a row, we had not talked to Tom Nelson in so long. Every year, folks, full disclosure, every year we have to fight, scrap, and pillage to get Tom Nelson to do his preseason interview.
But we get him. We love him.
This year we did.
Yes,
the year before, not so much.
True fact.
But this year he begrudgingly talked to his preseason. Well, folks, right now he made a beeline for me as soon as that game was over. He's like, all right. Big boy's back with a TV camera. This is good.
You should have asked him how much it's going to cost him to follow him through the playoffs.
Oh, man, I should have. But, Coach, I'll just throw in what you need. I mean, what's a state championship worth to you?
Exactly.
But for the 3rd week in a row, we did get to have a quick post-game chat with Fike head coach Tom Nelson. And you can definitely tell his excitement for not only himself, for his program and for his kids. And it's a great interview, and we're going to bring it to you right now. So let's head back one more time to the jungle.
Where nobody dies.
And, folks, welcome you back one more time here on the field at the Jungle. Fike, a 51-21 winner tonight over arch rival Hunt. And, folks, for the 3rd straight week, right here on the All-Mid Sports Show, who's your post-game interview? It's Fike head coach Tom Nelson. Folks, it's kind of like we told him. It's great to talk to me because that means you got a W. He's really warming up to us. He loves when we come now. Coach, we've seen you 3 straight weeks. Every week it's gotten a little easier, I guess. Week one, it's the game at the gun. Last week you take care of Northern Nash early. Today you guys come out and maybe a little later, but you put away Hunt in impressive fashion. Man, got to feel good going into the playoffs.
Really do, and we talk to our kids all the time about when we are playing our best football, and this is when we want to be playing our best, and we are. We snuck by Rocky Mount in a really tight game, and then we played a pretty complete game last week, and then, minus a couple big plays by Hunt tonight, I thought we played our most complete game.
Coach, tonight, your contributions come from everywhere. A week ago, it seemed to be the DJ Daniels show. Tonight, A.J. Hines definitely doing his part. Anthony Evans, your stud senior running back, doing his part. Let's focus on Anthony Evans and your group of seniors. A couple years ago, those guys went through a really tough season, and here they are 2 years later. They're Big East Conference champions. We see a lot of them celebrating out here right now. As the coach, what does that mean to you to see these kids' hard work come to fruition?
It means everything, because when we got here 4 years ago, Fike was not in good shape. And we have worked so hard, and our kids have worked so hard, and they have bought into what we're doing. And I am so proud of our seniors because we came in together. And to be able to reap the fruits of our labor is just more than I can ask for, because these kids have done everything and more that we've asked, and just could not be more proud.
Coach, a Hunt team that they give you a few different looks, but they can throw the football, they can run the football. Your defense did a really good job tonight. Hunt kind of got into a groove, but then your defense stepped up and just second half completely shut them down.
They really did. We made a few adjustments in the second at halftime, and Coach Pridgeon and those guys did a great job of having our kids ready to play. And if we'll play great defense like that and take control of the football and not turn it over, we're going to be a tough out.
And Coach, last thing to say to you. You've won all your championships so far. You're the Big East champs. You're the Wilson County champs. We talked to Anthony. 5 more wins, you got 1 more championship coming. You talked about it a little bit. You feel like you're peaking at the right time. Is this a team that can make a deep run?
We hope so. We're going to take it one at a time. But when this season started, we had the beginning, we had the end in mind when we started. And we won 3 championships, and we got 2 of them tonight.
2 down, 1 to go. Head coach Tom Nelson, folks. You never know. Not going to be really any more Friday night game of the weeks, but. You never know where the All New Sports Show might show up to interview a winning coach. Coach, congratulations. Absolutely want to shake your hand here from the All New Sports Show. Congratulations, you're 2014 Big East Conference champs. Tom Nelson, folks, let's send it back to the studio right now for more of the All New Sports Show.
Yep.
I don't care what they say about tiebreakers. I was at the fight game, so fight are the 2014 Big East Conference champs. Congratulations to you too, though, Southern.
Anyway, yes, congratulations. So again, we can say that now because of this. All the results. Southern does finish number 1. They win the head-to-head tiebreaker against Fike. Hunt actually now drops down to number 4. They lose the head-to-head tiebreaker against Rocky Mount, who finishes 3rd. Northern finishes 5th with a 1-4 conference record. And then Nash Central finishes 6th, which we thought we might have a little bit of news to break about Nash Central. Not happened yet.
And as far as it goes, for the seeding purposes, if they've been the same seeds, Southern would have taken a number 1 and Fike given a number 2. But, really in 2, the way it does work out, yes, you go tiebreakers. Both teams will have the ability and opportunity to put a banner in the gym, at the football field, wherever they want to put a banner. They will be able to do that. I just keep pushing this because I want it my way, right?
Yes. Speaking about someone else who got it his way, Jonathan Cobb has done an amazing turnaround right now at Southwest Edgecombe, not the least of which is their latest 54-12 win on Thursday against Bedingfield. This was obviously a game that at the beginning of the year we looked at, oh my God, this could be for playoff seeding, playoff berths maybe on the line.
Could have been for a conference title.
Could have been. But Washington's really good. But the only difference is Bedingfield has just had a war of attrition all year. Everyone has gone down. Kavaje Ellis has been hurt. They've lost Javis Nixon, one of their star wide receivers. He's gone. He went down really early. And Bedingfield just never recovered, especially after the Ellis injury. So it's understandable what's going on. They've had 2 big defeats in 2 straight weeks, and it's a very disappointing end for them, obviously. They're not going to be going to the playoffs. This was a team that, especially in non-conference, hey, they might be able to make some noise in 2A. And now just a bunch of sliding doors, what-ifs. But for Southwest Edgecombe, number 2 seed in 2A, coming out of this conference, they can hit people, and they might be able to win a few games in the playoffs.
Oh, buddy, and we're going to talk about, obviously, their playoff seeding as well coming up. But I think that's a team, once again, like Tom Nelson talked about his group, they are peaking at the right
Yes,
time.
absolutely.
They have gotten it figured out. Devontrell Hyman in this ballgame, 228 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns.
I like to think we did his coming out party against North Edgecombe.
We did. He had a great ball game against North Edgecombe. Was really hitting the hole hard that game. Racked up a lot of yards, and for the season, he's just kept it going on. He has been one of the absolute best backs in the area.
Goes for 230 and 4 touchdowns, and this is an amazing stat. Just 15 carries.
Oh, totally.
That's absurd.
This is a young man who may have found himself on a spot on the all-new Big 22. Plus 2. That comes out
Soon.
Yeah, it comes out. We'll just
One
put that-
day.
Just like Hyman had is coming out. It'll come out someday. We don't know. All right, so big win for Southwest Edgecombe. Like we said, they had already clinched second
Yes.
in the Eastern Plains Conference, and they are in the playoffs. They've got a home game in the playoffs. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But, folks, right now we are going to take a quick commercial timeout. When we come back, we are going to talk about Rocky Mount Northern Nash. We're going to talk about those brackets. We're going to give you a quick Todd Gurley update.
Very quick.
Okay, here it is. Did not play. Georgia won big. He'll be back next week against Auburn.
Let's do it.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Todd Gurley update done. Still both plays of the week to come. We'll be right back here with more of the all-new sports show brought to you by Roger G. Taylor Associates here on WHIG TV.
Good day, Eastern Carolina. It's Mike Keffer at Mike Keffer Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on the 301 bypass between Rocky Mount and Wilson. I'm a truck driving man. The Great American Drive event is happening on all new Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram trucks. It's hunting season. No better time to trade up to a new Ram, whether you prefer gas-sipping 6-cylinder, Hemi, Eco Diesel, or heavy-duty Rocky Mount built Cummins diesel. Ram truck is the new dog on the hunt. Hunt one up in Rocky Mount at 855 by Keffer or online at mikekeffer.com.
Yeah. Well, Yaya.
Yaya.
No more Yaya.
No more.
Folks, welcome you back
Speaking
to
of
the
Yaya.
whole new sports show brought to you by Roger G. Taylor and Associates.
Yeah.
Folks, still more to come. Your Football Friday recap. Josh Wallfish of the Rocky Mountain Telegram still to come. Todd Gurley update is done, so we're not doing that anymore. But folks, first it's time for your most exciting minute of the week.
Yeah.
It's time for 60 seconds of soccer.
Soccer. Watford.
Great.
The team who came back from the dead.
Forest.
Yep. We just like to say lower division teams.
We love it so much. Macclesfield Town.
Are you,
Obviously,
No,
my
no,
favorite
no,
Macclesfield Town. Which is a real one, actually.
are you ready?
I am. Shall I go first?
Go.
I'm going to go. Okay, folks. So, it's been kind of a tough week on the red side of Mersey. Midweek loss to Real Madrid in the Champions League with a weakened side, even though it was probably the best game we played all year. Today in league play, on Saturday in league play, Liverpool dropping a 2-1 decision to the top of the league, Chelsea. What can you do? I'm not that mad.
It's fine.
Just leave it. I'm not that mad.
Jazz hands. Obviously Spurs. This filming have not played yet. So we did have a big Europa League match on Thursday when we went to Greece to face Asteras Tripoli and get a big result there, 2-1. Giving up another late goal, but who cares? Because we have Harry Kane, the best player in the Premier League and England's only hope.
No one other than Emery Chan can deflect a ball off of somebody in the goal like Harry Kane.
That was very Harry Kane this morning.
Very Harry Kane. Very Harry. All right.
He's not very, though.
Oh, dear. My disappointment with Liverpool. It's okay. Sturge is coming back November 23rd. Well, Actually, still gives him 2 weeks to get hurt again.
Yes.
But he's supposed to come back November 23rd. So for Thanksgiving, I will give thanks. Liverpool will finally have a striker who can move and create.
Yes.
Ed,
You.
are we done with the food?
Yes, we're done with the food.
Back to the foot.
Yes.
All right, folks. Ed, as his part of 2 Christmases, went down the road from us. A nice short trip for Ed. Didn't have too far to go. Went to Rocky Mount High School, home of the Griffons, and the Rocky Mount Griffons were playing for playoff seeding.
Yes, absolutely.
Big one on the line for those guys tonight. Northern Nash was locked into 5th pretty much no matter what. Rocky Mount had a chance to move up, and they did. Northern Nash comes out, takes care of business against Northern Nash. In the process, they secure the number 3 seed because Hunt lost to Mike.
Yes.
And it all
It's
worked
that
out
easy.
for the Griffons. Ed, you were there. Yeah, give us a final score and tell us a little bit about it.
38-12 Rocky Mount wins. A little dicey early, actually. Some bad play by Rocky Mount, a few turnovers, allowed Northern to really creep back in the game, including a few big plays. There was actually a lot of Krispy Kreme Play of the Week nominees in this game, including one. We're not going to be able to show you, but if you watch the game, you saw Broderick Cottle's hit that he put during a punt return. Magnifique.
Or are we not able to show due to the fact that it may have concussed someone?
Maybe.
Okay.
He was definitely depleted. But Rocky Mount then goes on to score 24 straight points and basically put that one to bed. There was actually one point where the teams combined for 4 straight possessions ending in a turnover, whether it be by interception or fumble. I will say this, though. Give Rocky Mount a lot of credit. 2 penalties on the night. Granted, it was for 30 yards. So you know what those 2 penalties were. But on a whole, much better. You talked about your Pappy Van Winkle pick of the week, one of them. One of mine was Josh Carter. At times he looked fantastic. He had a bunch of throws that when he would just throw it up, it'd be great. He actually started. The first scoring was a 71-yard pass to Rashawn Harris. He also had a 43-yard pass to Broderick Cottle to open up the scoring in the second quarter. I mean, he was just on point. But there was some bad exchanges on the snap. There were some bad exchanges he had with his running back that led to a few fumbles. He threw a really, really bad interception. And every time one of those things happened, in came Forrest Bell. I think Forrest Bell actually played about 5 or 6 series on the night. And that's before we got near the end of the game, when the game was certainly in hand. I mean, these are, there was a fumble. Northern Nash immediately scores to make it, I believe at that point, 7-6. Who's coming out for Rocky Mount's 3rd series? It's Forrest Bell. So Josh Carter, I said he had to get some mojo back. I said he had to start getting well if they were going to make a deep run. Sometimes he looked fantastic. Other times, not so much.
And defensively for Northern Nash, it sounds like they just did not have many answers to the questions that the Griffons.
Not a very good secondary. Some good play up front, some good stops in the run game, but man, their secondary was atrocious. As good as Josh Carter was throwing those deep balls last night, the only reason those were made to look so easy was because those running backs basically, once they got past the secondary, there was nobody there, and the secondary just lost sight of them. It was insane. Kudos to Josh Carter for making those throws and hitting them in stride and leading to easy touchdowns. That Northern Nash secondary was atrocious.
Carter, 3 completions on the night for 157 yards.
Yep.
Now, folks, if you have just started following, that is old school Rocky Mount numbers. And here's the reason I say that. Back when I was playing at Rocky Mount, we ran a lot of I formation, a lot of pro formation. We ran the football 90% of the time. We threw the ball 6 or 7 times a game, and what we hoped to do was to catch somebody on play action and beat you deep. That's why I love going deep.
Yes, you do.
I do love
And I
going
mentioned that during the game. I said you'd be proud.
So, he loves to go deep. That's what he does. But
In Germany?
I watched the Inglorious B word the other
Okay.
night. Yeah. I can't really say that.
I
Can
am so glad you didn't say that word.
See, I learned it. I learned from my suspensions this year. But that was basically
Yes.
what Rocky Mount did, was they would throw 60, 70-yard passes because you could get behind people off the play action. So that's just what these numbers remind me of. 3 of 6, 157 yards. Of course, this is typical. Jacob Green, of course, we'll talk about him in just a few minutes. But on the receiving end of Rocky Mount, Rashawn Harris, 2 catches, 82 yards. Caudle, 2 catches for 66 yards. Those guys are big play all day.
And I will say this, Northern did a fairly good job. Not a great job, but a fairly good job on special teams, limiting what they were going to do as far as returns. But once they got onto open space in the passing lanes, they were done. And I think if Rocky Mount has a chance, if they play perfect football for 3 straight weeks, they can make a march maybe to the Eastern Finals. But man, is it hard for them to play perfect football.
And folks, when we tell you those brackets later,
They're so talented.
if you're a Rocky Mount fan, you may literally just start slamming your face into the nearest wall. We'll get to that in a moment.
And you got to think also, how good could their seeding have been if they hadn't blown the fight game
Or the Southern game,
or the Southern game?
where they could have won the conference.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody has mentioned to you that maybe they could have won the
You're
conference.
starting to sound like Tony Dowdy.
That's all I was going for. Ed, why don't you tell us about your player of the game?
Yeah, you apparently got a text about this. We don't normally do defensive players very much, but considering he has the Krispy Kreme hot play of the game, we felt the need to talk to him. Brendan Williams, a senior.
Fat boys unite!
He's not really a fat boy. He's a large man.
He's large, and that's all that makes it happen.
But he had a fantastic run back for an interception return off Jacob Green. And he was obviously going to be our Krispy Kreme play of the week. But then we also decided, hey, let's talk to him as well for our player interview. Telco Credit Union player of the game. Let's head out back to Rocky Mount as Tony and I talk with Brendan Williams. And now we are out here with Brendan Williams, our Telco Credit Union player of the game. Brendan, of course, you had the Krispy Kreme hot play of the game, a big touchdown off an interception. What was going through your head on that return?
Well, all week in practice, my coaches, they just taught us how to read the screen correctly. If they let us by, most likely it's going to be a screen. Retract your steps. I did it. My teammates, they played it right, and the ball just landed in my hand where it was supposed to be.
What did you think when you had caught it, though, and you were making your way towards the end? Did you think you were going to make it?
I had on so much stuff. It was cold tonight. I was running kind of slow, so I seen my teammates blocking for me. I knew I was going to score.
You actually had to kind of hit and spin there a little ways. They caught you and you had to break away from them. So you little fullback action there.
Yes, sir. I used to play a little bit of fullback. I'm a D-line hitter.
Brendan, obviously a big win on the night against a rival, and it looks like it might get you the 3rd seed in the playoffs. What are your thoughts after this big win?
We just got to keep it about business. It was fun tonight. It was senior night, a lot of emotion. We got to keep it going through the playoffs every week.
Brendan, congratulations on a big win tonight. Obviously, our Telco Credit Union player of the game. Our first defensive player of the year, I kind of think. And obviously, he had a big reason why. Again, a touchdown off an interception return. Great job tonight, Brendan. Congratulations. Best of luck in the playoffs. For right now, though, let's send it back to the warm studio. I don't have to wear a scarf.
He gave you a look when you mentioned your scarf.
I love the scarf.
Brendan Williams. Look at the fraternity, big boy. The big boys of Rocky Mount fraternity. Yeah, I almost recovered a fumble once.
Almost.
Almost.
He picked him off. You'll see it later.
Well, no one ever threw when we played them.
Yeah. They're throwing a lot more now.
Oh,
I am so happy.
Dude, we saw Rose go into shotgun once and we're like, what the heck is this? Shotgun? Whoa, God, what is this? Let's talk about that Rocky Mountain defensive unit last night, Ed. Early on, it looked like this game could have been, oh, God, is this going to be a shootout? Here we go. It's 14-12, and that's just the first quarter. And then the Rocky Mountain defense just went lights out.
It was a really rough start for them, actually. Northern Nash, I believe, on their first 3 plays, ran the ball for about 20 yards. Really started to impose their will. Rocky Mountain missed a few big tackles also early on. That helped allow, especially on the Trayvon Clark pass play from Jacob Green that went 63 yards. About 45 of that was Clark's own individual effort when he just kept shaking off tackles. That was a little concerning. Once Rocky Mount got their mojo going, especially on offense, the defense kind of followed suit. And obviously, once they got down in a hole, it's obviously much easier to protect that sort of lead. Northern Nash had to find themselves in a lot more passing formations. I was impressed with Rocky Mount's ability to rebound on defense. Some of the stuff that I saw early on worried me a little bit, especially considering how we saw Northern look last week on offense and how they basically had no running game, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, they really do have a running game. And if it wasn't for a couple Quan Whitaker's fumbles, this actually could have been a lot closer. So I give some props to Rocky Mount's defense. They might have to work on that a little bit going into the playoffs, though.
All right, so tell us about the Northern Nash offense. What just suddenly went right? You mentioned the Whitaker fumbles.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like everything just came off the rails for Northern.
Yeah, it's.
And what has to be, sorry to say, has to be extremely disappointing end of the season for Northern.
Yeah.
Coming out of non-conference was extremely promising. 4 wins non-conference. You end with 5, and spoiler, not going to the playoffs.
Yeah, it was really tough. I thought they really had a chance in this game, especially the way they came out. Jacob Green looked a lot better than he did last week, despite the interception. They're just a little off. They're good. Mm-hmm. They're not great. They're not even close to great. They're maybe only even just pretty good. And the worst part is a lot of their big guys are graduating now. The thing I was telling Tony Dowdy last night, you and I have talked about this. I don't know where the cavalry is for Northern Nash right now. That's the most disconcerting part. Randy Raper showed improvement with this team this year, but not nearly the kind of improvement I think he was looking forward to. He might have a very long rebuilding process still to go at Northern. That offense, and I know what he's trying to do. You can see Randy Raper's influence on that offense, and you really saw it early on, the way they were able to run the football. Mm-hmm. And then it just looked like it left them. It looked like they were playing really good, and then it looked like they just got tired in the second, third quarter, and then that was it.
Well, in an offense like Randy Raper runs, which he relies on an I formation, yes, he's incorporated more spread over the years when he's had to. Randy Raper doesn't exactly want to sit in a spread the entire game. No. It starts up front. It starts with the offensive linemen. Those very good Hunt teams of the past 5-6 years that have gone to Eastern Finals, that have made deep playoff runs. It started up front for Hunt. They were able, and they never had any big Division I guys up front, but they had a lot of guys who were tough and were nasty and knew their assignments and knew how to play football, and they blocked well. They blocked well for the backs. The backs knew where to go, and that's how things ran for them. The Achilles heel of Northern Nash for going on a decade now has been up front, both sides of the ball, offensive and defensive line. The odd year that Northern has had really good years, the conference championship season a few years ago where they tied Hunt, very good on the lines. When Northern's not good on the lines, it trickles down, and they're just not good. And that seems to be what's happened to them, because we, of course, did not see them pre-Big East, where they were playing good football. Maybe it was better then, but once they got to the Big East, another thing for Northern, I think, unfortunately for them, they got caught in a year where there were 4 good teams in the Big East. I mean, and Hunt, for whatever you want to think right now about Hunt, I think Hunt was a definite step below the top 3. I still cannot figure out for the life of me how they beat Southern Nash. I think Rocky Mount and Fike were just both better teams than Hunt. But Hunt was a step down, and that was the one that Northern hung with. Southern, Rocky Mount, and Fike ran Northern off the field. That's because they're just so much better up front. Yeah. All right. Ed, you did get a chance afterwards to speak with my old teammate.
Yes, good old Jason Battle. And he was very happy to talk to us after the game. Obviously,
they all are?
Yes, they are. Obviously got a big win on senior night, so let's head on back to Rocky Mount and talk with Jason Battle. Obviously happy Jason Battle here on senior night here at Rocky Mount, 38-12, a win over Northern Nash. Coach Battle, obviously coming off 2 tough losses, this is a big win to get you guys back on track heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, well, we talked about all week trying to get back on pace and get something going before we head into the playoffs, and I think we did that tonight.
Now, obviously, on the intercepted pass, y'all were keying on something tonight because not too many times a defensive lineman makes an interception on a screen pass and runs for a touchdown.
No, we weren't keying on anything the first 2 times they ran screens on us, and they broke them big, and then finally we did what we were supposed to do, what the coach to do, and Brendan was successful.
Josh Carter had a kind of an up and down game, but for the most part tonight, not as many turnovers as usual, certainly not as many penalties as usual. I think that would say good things going into the playoffs for you guys, at least on that aspect, something that's plagued you guys the last couple games.
Well, Josh did what we needed him to do tonight, and as far as getting us going on a fast start, the fumble early. Well, I mean, it could be play calling. You know, that's not really a big thing. And then, you know, he just brushed it off and came back and played the next couple plays. So, I mean, as a senior, he's learned how to move on to the next play. So, and that's how he played tonight.
Jason, so far in your first 2 years, you've lost your first round playoff game. Now, as a number 3 seed, you're not going to get an easy game next week. But what are you going to do to get that first playoff win?
We've just got to. Well, it's more about the players being hungry to stay in the playoffs. I think to a certain extent we've just been happy to be there the first couple times. But I think maybe I'm hoping this group right here is going to go the extra mile and really try to work to go ahead.
All right, Coach Battle, obviously a victorious coach of the night. First time we tried to talk to you this year against Nash Central, the rains came. We couldn't get you on here. Had to get you by phone, but this time we get you live and in person. Congratulations on the big win, and best of luck next week in the playoffs.
Thank you. We're going to need a whole lot of luck.
All right, well, we're going to be following them, but for right now, let's head it back to the studio.
And we welcome you back into the studio. Big thanks to Jason Battle taking some time with us. And also, just real quick, big thanks to Jason Battle, Tom Nelson, and both of our players of the week, Anthony Evans and Brendan Williams, all for taking time to chat with us. Keep watching through the playoffs, folks. If we can make it out to games on Friday nights, we're still going to do our coach interviews, still going to do our player interviews as best we can.
Still give out T-shirts.
Exactly, still give out T-shirts.
I love T-shirts.
And we'll still play them here on the All New Sports Show.
Absolutely.
As long as we have a show that
Which
week.
we won't this week.
Yeah, we won't this week. That's right, Wesleyan football and all. But
we'll have
also
internet
you can definitely find everything on the web.
Certainly.
All right, folks, joining us now on the phone from the Rocky Mount Telegram, Josh Wallfish, who I don't know if Josh is from Chicago. Don't know if he's ever really felt cold weather like he's feeling right now here in Eastern North Carolina.
Certainly.
Josh, I hope you brought an overcoat.
I got plenty of comments about how cold I was at the Tarboro North Edgecombe game last night. And I keep telling people I got Chicago in my blood. I'm not cold just yet.
I was about to say, you were probably out there wearing shirt sleeves and just laughing at everyone else who was sucking down hot chocolate and North Edgecombe Tarboro wearing all that camo.
Exactly.
Yeah, I went there.
You did. Let's talk though about that game. You know, this was a game. It was for the Two Rivers Championship. Tarboro North Edgecombe, maybe the biggest game these two teams have played in quite a few years. We thought it was going to be great. We were so high on North Edgecombe going into this game. They thought they'd hit their stride. And then we remembered to never bet against Jeff Craddock. Tarboro wins in a big way, 48-0. You were there, Josh. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I used some to purpose. I was very high on North Edgecombe this season, and
Not me.
My colleague at the
Not against
Telegram,
JC.
Andrew Evans, kept poking fun at me for keep hyping up this game the past couple of weeks, saying this is going to be a very close game, this is going to be a very exciting game. I was so excited to get out there, and then Tarboro went 93 yards in the opening drive, and that was the end of the ballgame.
A purple and gold explosion. Mostly just gold last night.
Yeah, it was one of those things that you could see the light being stuck at North Edgecombe sideline, and that light is just being funneled right under the field, right up to the Tarboro sideline. And like I said, you don't bet against Tarboro at this time of the year. They found a way, despite all the difficulties at the beginning of the season, to hit their stride at the right time, and more importantly, to enter the playoffs feeling very confident and realizing that they are Tarboro, and that name alone is going to intimidate some opponents. And then when you put a drive like they did against North Edgecombe on a consistent basis, and they were just running it down North Edgecombe's throat, 413 yards of rushing on about 60 carries, not 60, about 40 carries, that's going to make a huge difference for you.
I also see, Josh, no passes. Zero passes.
Needs to throw the ball.
I mean, we've wondered about Tarboro. Is this what we can see from them going forward? I know the passing game is never going to be really big in Tarboro, but is this kind of consistency and this kind of strength? Is this what we're going to see from Tarboro going into the playoffs now?
I would severely doubt that Tarboro is going to regress at this point. And in the conversation I had with Coach Craddock, both Friday night and today, Saturday, he kept saying the same thing. This isn't the time to get worse. You know, it's one of those things where the state champion is going to be the team that gets better each and every week. And if there's one team that knows what it takes to be a state champion in this area, it is Tarboro. So I don't think that Tarboro is going to regress. I think they're only going to get stronger, and they're only going to dominate teams more. And I think more importantly, because they're in 1A, the fact that they're just going to obliterate the first couple of teams that they face is going to give them a lot of confidence for a young team, a team that's still trying to find ways to win. And I don't think they really need Malcolm Speller or Dawson Harris to pass the ball at all through the first 2-3 rounds of the playoffs. I think that's going to be very important for them, that they can throw in some of those play-action passes as a wrinkle as we get closer to a state title.
And as we talk about North Edgecombe, what I get out of what you just said, and from what I know around here, the worst thing that could have happened for North Edgecombe was that Tarboro got a penalty on the opening kickoff and then went 93 yards. Because I believe as soon as Tarboro crossed that goal line, immediately the thought went into North Edgecombe, oh man, same old, we can't stop them. And once that gets in your head, you're not going to stop anybody. Tarboro, it sounds like, had that game won about 5-6 minutes into it. But like you said, Josh, hitting their stride going to the playoffs, when you look at 1A football, your first two rounds, if you're a high seed, should not give you too much trouble. Third, fourth round, you still run into some really good football teams. James Keenan out there, Wallace Rose Hill out there. Those are really good football teams. But looking at Tarboro going forward, I've got to agree with you. I think they've got a shot to definitely make some noise. And, of course, folks, we're going to give you those brackets in just a few minutes. Josh, of course, you are working on all the bracket coverage for for Sunday's newspaper?
Yes, no, I am working very hard getting all the coaches' reactions to the brackets. And one of the things that and we were talking about this in kind of the telegram that I think surprised us was the fact that the Twin County's got 6 teams in there. You know, Rocky Mount Prep, as bad as they were playing towards the end of the season, they found a way to win enough games to get in there. Honestly, the big win for, I know you're talking Coach Battle before me, a big win for the Grapevines on Friday night to get into the playoffs as the 3 seed out of the Big East, and they can make some noise if they play as well as they did Friday night. So a lot of good football teams in Twin County are in the playoffs, and a lot of them can make some noise if they put together a good effort.
And Josh, one of those is Southern Nash, your Big East champions via the head-to-head tiebreaker over Fike. Not an overly amazing game against Nash Central, but a win nonetheless, 25-6. They did what they needed to do.
Exactly, and a lot of people are going to look and they're going to say, how can you only beat Nash Central 25-6? But at the end of the day, Nash Central is not as bad as the 0-11 record says they are.
Yeah.
Yes, they haven't been able to put anything together on offense, but they're a decent defensive team. You know, they play their system very well, and they really harp in on the other team's strength. And the other thing I think that made a big difference for the Bulldogs in talking to Coach Kevin Crudup is the fact that there was no pressure on them. And the fact that at the end of the day, it was Southern Nash, it was Wilson Hunt, it was Northern Nash, it was all these teams. They had to go beat them. Nobody was expecting Nash Central to win. I think that kind of looseness really helped the Bulldogs the Big East season.
Sure.
All right. Well, Josh, let's talk about a team that is going to play with some pressure this week, but, man, this is the pressure you want to play with. And those are the Eagles of Rocky Mount Academy, who will be taking on Arundel Parrott Friday night at what was known as the Rocky Mount
Athletic Sports
Athletic
Complex.
Sports Complex Field is now known as Bishop Stadium. For everybody at home, it's where the Griffons used to play. Friday night, they'll be hosting a Rendell Parrott for a chance for their second consecutive 8-man football state championship.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Hull keeps talking. This is where you want to be. At the end of the day, when you start the season, you're circling November 14th. We want to be at Bishop Stadium competing for a state title, and that's the opportunity they have. And they've been playing some extraordinary football. But it's going to be a challenge for the defense. You look at what Parrott was able to do last week, or I should say Friday night, pick up 70 points on Southampton. The defending state runner-up. Parrott can score it, and when you know Rocky Academy can score, it's going to really come down to which defense can make that one or two stops necessary to win the football game. And I kind of lean towards the Academy because that's what they've been doing all season. When the pressure is on them, and when they need to make the stop, and you need to stop on somebody's throat, that is what the Eagles have been doing. So it's going to be a lot of pressure on Parrott to come to Rocky Mount and defeat the defending state champion.
And, of course, also when you look at these two teams, much like pretty much everybody in that conference, they have played this season. Rocky Mount Academy on September 10th went to Kinston and defeated a Rendell Parrott 59-42. So really the only thing you got to say, this is Rocky Mount Academy. This year they are the big dog on the porch. Last season they were the underdog. They came hard. They upset Southampton for a state championship. This year the target is on Rocky Mount Academy's back. Everybody's expecting them to get the job done at home. I obviously completely believe that they can do it. We plan to be there on Friday night. We're going to give you some highlights. We're going to give you some interviews post-game. But it will definitely be a fun game. Josh, any early inklings to where the Rocky Mount Telegram staff will be making their way to on Friday night?
That is something we haven't really started. We're just really digesting where everybody is. Obviously, we have 5 games to choose from. There will definitely be somebody at Bishop Stadium offering the Eagles the opportunity to win another state title. But if I have my guesses, I would say we will be in Bailey. One of us, Andrew and I will be in Bailey. And I'm going to go on a limb and say the other one of us will be in Pine Tops. But again, that is completely and utterly my speculation.
Gotcha.
I love speculation.
All right. Well, Josh, thank you so much for hopping on with us here on the All New Sports Show. And we will definitely be in touch in the upcoming weeks. And let's see what second season can do for us.
All righty. Take care, guys.
Thanks,
Have
Josh.
a good one, Josh.
Enjoy Chicago.
Josh Wallfish, Rocky Mount Telegram sports writer. Misses Chicago, mostly for the pizza. The cold weather, it doesn't bother him, folks.
No, it really doesn't.
Andrew Ivins, on the other hand, South Florida guy.
He was inside last night.
We've got to see
Drinking
the
that coffee.
the big thing, Edward. How will Andrew Ivins respond to the weather? Remains to be seen.
You just slipped back into your character from last year's CSI Miami
And go.
parody.
Well, Ed, now that character, as you know, I take my character, my method acting very seriously.
Yes, you do.
Was his name was Corporal Ralph Sampson, and he was from Wisconsin,
Yes.
Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Unfortunately, he lost his accent like near the end of that bit, but whatever.
No idea what I'm
You want to do some brackets? I love brackets.
Sure, I like brackets too, especially when there's no basketball being played in them.
Jerk. All right, we're going to get you. The brackets have been
All right, Tar Heel
finalized.
born, Tar Heel bred. You know what I mean. All right, folks, we do have the brackets up.
Yes.
Ed, where do we want to start? Do we want to start in our 3A?
We'll go to 3AA and go down.
Okay, that works. That's how we roll.
We'll start with our teams in 3AA. There are 2. And they're going to be playing against each other on Friday night.
Folks, hold on to your hats. You may not have seen this one for a while.
Yes. Because it was last year that we actually saw this exact game. Hunt at Fike.
It was.
Yeah.
Man, when was the last time those two got together and played a ball game? I'd say that's a rough. Oh, wait.
Yeah. They'll have to
Friday.
make the return trip.
Thanks a lot, NCHSAA.
It's a replay.
Because I mean, seriously, let's just real quick. Let's look at the 14. Okay, that's the 2-15 game.
Yeah.
Let's look at the 14 and the 16 seeds and just see. Could we have maybe just flipped something around?
Union Pines and Cardinal Gibbons.
Cardinal Gibbons, Hunt, same record. We couldn't just flip it around a little bit. We couldn't flip it at all, so we don't get Hunt Fike in the absolute 7 days later.
You have to save on that gas money, Wes.
But no, they stopped that. They stopped the pod system.
Oh, did we? I didn't
Send
notice.
Hunt to Southern Durham. Get a rematch of last year's Eastern Finals. Hunt obviously pulls the upset.
Yeah, obviously.
Because Hunt only loses in the Eastern Finals in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, 3AA will be. We'll have one in, one out after week 1.
Yes. So that the winner will most likely face Northern Guilford. I've never heard of that team before.
Hunt's just begging for that one, I'm sure.
Oh man, you know what? Hunt would have to go to Northern Guilford.
Yeah, they will.
Obviously, like we said, number 1 seed in that bracket is Southern Durham. I was there last year to cover Hunt's game in the Eastern Finals for it, and I still think Hunt would have had a chance in that game. They kind of shot themselves a foot in a few times. Southern probably still wins, but they had a chance. As we drop down to 3 single A, we have 2 teams there. One is Rocky Mount. They are the 9 seed out of 16 in the East. They will be going to Western Alamance because we have to save on gas.
And because Rocky Mount hasn't played Western Alamance enough in the past. Of course, all of you folks who remember 2005, 2006, and 2007 all remember where Rocky Mount seasons ended, 06 and 07, on the field at Western Alamance.
And that's where they'll be going.
A lot of a lot of blood left over from that one. Unfortunately,
Still there.
B.W. Holt no longer there. Hal Capps no longer at Western Alamance. Those two were
part of it.
well, he was an assistant, but just saying both the head coaches from that era are both gone now. So you don't quite have that same hookup. It's still going to be interesting, though, because for Rocky Mount, if they can go up there and win, that's going to exercise some demons. Because if they can go to Western Alamance and win, because a lot of these kids grew up knowing what Western Alamance did to Rocky Mount, if they can go to get a win at Western Alamance, sky could be the limit for that team.
Southern Guilford good?
Guilford County plays good football.
Undefeated.
I'm just saying, if they can go to Western Alamance and win, I give Rocky Mount a chance to do a lot of things.
All right. 4 seed in that bracket is also going to be Southern Nash, your Big East champions.
Right.
They are, for the record, 8-2 as far as these things go. Everybody only gets 10 games on their schedule that count. They'll be playing Walter M. Williams, who comes in at 6-4.
Burlington.
Yes, and a likely matchup against Eastern Wayne. Both will be home games, though, after earning that 4th seed. And then they would most likely play Southern Guilford if they advance that far. However, maybe we'll get Rocky Mount Southern. That could be fun.
It could be. And all I can say about the 3A East is maybe the greatest number 3 seed that has ever played in 3A.
That's coin flips. That's what you're talking about there, just coin flips.
Well, of course, number 3 seed, Havelock. They're really good. Havelock was...
Who beat Havelock this year?
Only Newbern.
Oh, okay.
Only the number 1 4A team in the state was the only team that was able to beat them. Havelock, of course, did go into the playoffs seeded as a 10-0 conference champion, but coin flips. Southern Guilford ends up your number 1 seed. Eastern Alamance your number 2 seed. Neither one of them want to play Havelock. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you.
Nope.
Because Havelock will hurt people.
As we move to 2AA, Southwest Edgecombe is our team there. The number 1 seed in that bracket is Washington. Shocker. Southwest Edgecombe as the 6 will get North Brunswick in round 1, and then most likely we'll be having to go to Northside Jacksonville. Now, I don't mind. I kind of see maybe Southwest pulling an upset there. Upset. And then they'd get Northeastern.
That'd be a fight.
And then most likely they'd get a rematch with Washington, which of course they lost to in Eastern Plains play.
And Northeastern is, where's Northeastern on that? They're the number 2. Northeastern, very good, of course, came to Fike, won earlier this year. Also, I believe, have defeated Northern Nash. Or not Fike, I'm sorry. Came to Hunt.
Oh, Hunt.
Came to Hunt, went and beat Hunt at Hunt, and also beat Northern Nash earlier this year. So there is some Big East connection to that. Northeastern, a very, very good 2A football team.
As we drop into the 1AAs now, Tarboro, as we mentioned earlier, is the 3 seed in the 1AA bracket. They will be taking on Hopton. I don't know where that is.
Hopton is down around Sampson County.
Okay. They come in with a 2-8 record in their 10 game. They're the 14th seed. Most likely Tarboro would then be playing Lewisburg.
Chris Lee, former Rocky Mount assistant under B.W. Holt, the head coach at Lewisburg, turned them into a good program.
So there you go for that. And then will be most likely the two big challenges if Rocky Mount progresses. James Keenan is the 2, then Wallace Rose Hill would be the 1. And then finally, in our 1A, North Edgecombe gets a 5 seed. They'll be playing Kestrel Heights in the first round. They have the 3-7 record. North Edgecombe most likely will be playing Southside in the second round. They'd have to go to Southside. The number 1 overall seed there is Plymouth. And then, ladies and gentlemen, Rocky Mount Prep, despite not winning a conference game, despite only beating Kip Pride twice this year, Kip Pride also win as the 16. Rocky Mount Prep,
I love the Kipper.
they go in as the 15 seed. They will be traveling to number 2 seed Southeast Halifax.
So obviously, you know my pick for the Eastern Finals is
Kip Pride
obviously
Prep.
Kip Pride and Prep.
Yep.
Third round, the round that really determines everything.
All right, let's pick one team we each think will go the farthest in these playoffs.
Okay, are we going one in the East and one in the West on each side? Or are we just
No, I mean of our area teams, of our 8 teams in the playoffs.
I thought we were going down this whole bracket.
No.
Okay.
There's no time. There's literally no time.
There's no time.
There's literally
There's
no
always time.
No, there's not.
Don't you remember that open last year? We could
All right.
always find time.
Somehow.
Back in time.
Give me one of our 8 teams who you think is going to go the farthest.
Rocky Mount Academy.
One of our 8 11-man teams.
Fike. I say Fike at least Eastern Finals.
That was going to be my pick.
Oh, I mean, you can have the same.
I would pick them. I'm taking Fike with my honorable mentions being Rocky Mount, period, full stop,
Come on, Ed.
and Tarboro.
Okay.
Those are my full stops. Those are my honorable mentions, but I think our best chance to see a state champion this year in 11-man football is Fike.
And Ed, now comes, since we are where we are at this season, Ed, now comes really one of the saddest things that we have to do, Ed.
Memorialize teams.
It's time to say goodnight, no pun intended, to a few of our area football teams. So, Ed, let's take this away. Northern Nash, Beddingfield, Nash Central,
That's it. That's it for right now. We're going to lose at least one, though, this week.
Lose at least one.
We have to lose at least one, unfortunately. Thanks, NCHSAA.
I almost want to take Kip Pride and just give them to us as an honorary team.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, I so love the
They're not
Kippers.
fair.
All right, folks. We are going to put the brackets up on the Facebook page.
Eventually.
We're going to have that for you this week. You never know what else you might find in there. Yeah. Of course, the Crystal Clear Pepsi 6-pack. We're not going to put that up right now.
It's tight.
It's tight, but someone sees daylight above the others. That someone being this guy. Wes Bradshaw currently leads the Crystal Clear Pepsi 6-pack.
And as we should
Why?
mention, because you have one game ahead of everybody.
I am.
But as we should mention, the Crystal Clear Pepsi 6-pack will be going on through as long as there's a team left in the playoffs from our thing.
That's right.
One team, it will continue.
That's right.
So it could just end one random week like the Japanese national anthem.
It's a great anthem until it just stops.
Just drops off the cliff.
All right, folks. Let's take a quick look at the Battling Bishops of Wesleyan. See what's going on at Wesleyan College this week. Yeah, take it away.
Big win for football at Greensboro College, 31-6 today. They get a big win there. Women's soccer on Friday they fell against Methodist 2-1 in overtime. Men's soccer also lost against Covenant 2-1 in overtime. That was in regulation. In double overtime, Wesleyan's men's soccer team gets a win against Averett, 3-2. Women's soccer went to penalty kicks, and they didn't say who wins. So Wesleyan and Piedmont.
Everyone gets a trophy.
There you go. Coming up this week, men's basketball starts off. Wesleyan will be traveling to East Carolina on the 14th, which is Friday.
Arg!
Is that Friday?
Friday or Saturday? Friday.
10, 11, 12.
Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
34, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Friday, 7 o'clock at East Carolina. John Thompson will be taking his team down there. On Saturday, Huntington College will be coming down for the last football game of the year. We'll be doing that 1 p.m. Also that day, though, women's basketball will be getting started at home, 7:30 p.m. against Hollins. On Sunday, they'll be playing Emory and Henry. Loved him, hated her. And on,
I'm a big fan of Emory.
I believe, next Tuesday, men's basketball will begin again on the road, 7 o'clock at Mid-Atlantic Christian. Quick look at the standings here. Wesleyan, very mid-table in football. 4-3, that is good for 5th place in conference right now. Men's soccer, they are 8-2 in conference play. That is good for a tie at 3rd place. Very good for them. Women's soccer, a little mid-table, 6-3-2 overall. That's good for 5th place in the conference. Women's volleyball, I believe their season is done, 6-13 in conference, 7-21 overall. And I believe that is it for right now. So there you go. That's your Bishop's Corner.
All right, and of course, like we said, folks, we will be there next week. It will be the final, most likely just the final game of the year for Wesleyan. Don't believe they're going to make the 16-team playoff at this point.
Don't think so.
So it's been a great year. It's been a fun year. You've really seen Jeff Filkowski starting to turn the Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a tough year last year. It's been better this year. And here's the other thing: their losses they've had have been close. I mean,
Very
one
close.
or two they have gotten beat pretty well, but you know, nothing like last year where it was, all right, how bad did they get beat this week? You know, was it 40 or was it 50 this week? No, they played some good football this year. Wesleyan doing a great job getting things turned, and future looks good with Jeff Filkowski.
Certainly.
Much like Liverpool's with Brendan Rodgers did, but anyway. Okay, Ed.
Yeah.
We have not one,
But deux.
but deux. I do as a gentleman, but deux. Place of the week. Well, you put this package together. You tell us what order is
Yep.
coming in.
You're going to see the Fike Hunt play of the week first.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you're going to see the Rocky Mountain Northern Nash play of the
Uh-huh.
week. Both sponsored, of course, by Krispy Kreme. So let's head out back to each school and check out the hot plays of the week. Why not both?
2 donuts. And handoff, that's A.J. Hines, the fantastic junior. Hines breaks in the secondary. Hines to the 40. Hines to the 30. He is running for daylight. Put 6 on the board, Golden Demon fans. A.J. Hines from 57 yards out. And the dream start is underway here for Fike. They have scored 2 early, and they lead Hunt here in the jungle. Clint Williams, Hines is known as a big power back, but right there he just showed great breakaway speed.
Absolutely did, and he pulled away from everybody, took it down, and that will be a nominee, I think, for our player of the game.
Absolutely.
Northern Nash looking to get back in this before the end of the first half, as on the Mike Keffer Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard, 2:44 left in the first half. Rocky Mount leads Northern Nash 21-12. Jacob Green, in the shotgun, dropping back to pass now, just fakes the swing out wide, and it's picked by number 51 of Rocky Mount, Brendan Williams. He's got a convoy. He uses the truck stick. The big man has taken it in. Krispy Kreme, light it up. It's a hot play of the game nominee, and it's 6 on the board for Rocky Mount. 4 straight drives, 4 straight turnovers, and this is the most costly one for Northern, Tony. Oh,
I tell you, and
my
the
goodness.
big man, the highlight of his life, he will tell his grandchildren, I intercepted a pass and took it to the house.
Brendan Williams, the senior defensive tackle on senior night here at Rocky Mount, puts the Griffons up 27-12 with 2.5 minutes to go. Northern Nash pushes the self-destruct button here.
All right, so with that one, the nail kind of put in the season for Northern Nash. Real quick, just a quick ending here for our teams that are no longer with us. Bettingfield, I attributed to injuries.
Certainly.
Kabaje Ellis, before the injury, I still thought was the most electrifying, best player in our area. To me, he is definitely finding his way onto the all-new Big 22. Definitely got to. He's my favorite player to watch the last 2 years in our area. I hate we won't get to see him anymore. Great ball player. For Nash Central, there's got to be a shakeup somewhere, something. What did I do on the podcast this past weekend?
You swore a lot.
And I told it like it was.
Yes, you did. That's the other thing you did.
Something's got to happen at Nash Central. Something different. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Yep.
Okay, something's got to change. Because you had the best player in the area, and he didn't win a varsity football game for 2 years. Northern Nash, I said earlier, it all comes down to the lines. Northern's still working on getting the numbers out. The numbers are better. Another thing for Northern this year, we talked to Randy Raper preseason. He lost what was supposed to be one of his biggest playmakers in the preseason. Should have that kid back next year. Kid they call Ryan.
Yes.
He's back. That's going to help. Northern still got to get better on the lines. Discipline got to improve as well.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. But silly penalties will. If you are not an overly talented team, silly penalties will kill you at the end of the day. Okay.
And if you are a talented team, it will still probably bite you in the second round.
Rocky Mountain.
Yep.
Okay. Ed, anything else to add today?
No, I think.
All right. Good deal. All right, folks. We're going to wrap it up this week. Don't forget, next week, Wesley and Battling Bishops football right here in this time slot. Ed, put us over one more time where the people, when they tune in and want to see us next week and Wesley's on, where can they then go and find their interviews for Friday night?
You can find those interviews at youtube.com/The All New Sports Show. That's our official channel.
That's right.
On Twitter, you can see us at All New Sports Show or individually.
At Wes Bradshaw 21.
At Edward Green. You can, of course, also go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/The All New Sports Show. // All New Sports Show, Instagram.com/ All New Sports Show. The email is allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Check out the podcast on Podbean.com, Stitcher Radio, or iTunes Music Store. Just search All New Sports Show and give us a listen. Episode 27 this past week?
27, yeah. Folks, I like to swear and tell it how it is.
I'll be completely honest. I actually listened to our podcast over the last couple of days. I think this was our best episode ever.
Well, we just got in and got dirty and got after it.
I got really mad at Manchester City.
I just stopped caring about people's feelings,
Yes.
and we got real.
Yes. What happens when two guys who care a lot about sports stop being nice and start being real?
All New Sports Show, the podcast. That's what happens. Bill.
All New Sports Show Boston.
Boom
All New
patterns.
Sports Show Las Vegas.
Boom
All New
patterns.
Sports Show San Francisco.
Boom patterns.
All New Sports Show Seattle.
All New Sports Show Rocky Mountain. Boom patterns. All right, folks. For the production staff here on the All New Sports Show, big thanks as always to our producer, Desmond McManus, as well as call him Producer Des, the silent third party here in the All New Sports Show. Big thanks as always to technical producer, one named Lee.
Good job.
Folks, he's Ed Green. I'm Wes Bradshaw. Folks, we're going to be here for the playoffs. You come take the ride with us each and every week.
It's going to be fun.
Here on the All New Sports Show, brought to you by Roger G. Taylor and Associates on WHIG TV. Good night, America.
It's too bad Chapel Hill won't be part of the playoffs.
Oh, well.
Could very well be the SEC West, and I believe Nash Central is playing the role of Vanderbilt. Up the middle for a big game is Malik Lewis. Every Bulldog supporter just turned off the television. But it is an LBJ Chevrolet first down. I kid because I love Nash Central. I want